Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Another episode, Her Business, Her Voice, Her Conversation. Well, at the top of the year, I promised that I would bring on the people who have reinvented themselves. I call us reinvented ones, or maybe just a part of the great transition. People are moving and leaving cultures and jobs and those, as my mama used to say, those good jobs. It's not just us boomers who have movement on our feet. Today's guest, she's a young woman with one heck of a story. So she had to come and just tell us about transition, what she's doing now, how she's making a real impact in people's lives. So Danielle Desir, welcome. I am so happy that you are here with us. So everybody knows I'm chatty, but I'm going to dig in and you tell your story of change and evolution and all those good things that people want to do, but really are afraid to do.
Yes. Okay. So I'm going to cut to the most important parts. So I have been creating content online as a personal finance and travel content creator. Initially, I started my blog in 2015 and I talk about travel and money, a very interesting and seemingly dissociated topics. However, I always say you need the money to travel and you need money to live an optimal lifestyle as well. So for me, travel and money have always been two sides of the same coin. Now, I also started my podcast, the Thought Card Podcast, in 2018. I started Women of Color Podcasters that same year as well, an organization I founded that amplifies women of color in the audio industry. And since 2018, I've just been grinding, just working on these two sides of my business. Now, it came down to around 2019, I was feeling some burnout. I had reached a height in my career. In a past life, I was a grant manager at a healthcare organization. So pretty much I was helping faculty and researchers apply for grant funding for their projects and then managing their funds and the whole administration process at after the grant was funded. And I love my job. I love what I was doing. I felt like it was perfect for my personality. I'm a go-getter. I'm independent. And I like to tell people what to do sometimes. So I had everything I wanted in my job. I had grown my career to become a manager. I was managing one person at the time. So I was living optimally. And like your intro, you said, we're leaving our good jobs. I had a great job. And I was actually making over six figures at the time before I quit. So very dedicated to my corporate career, but also very dedicated to my creative passions. I was dedicated to a thought card, dedicated to Women of Color podcasters, and I was steadily growing it. Now, by the time the pandemic hit in 2020, everything kind of came to a halt. And this was actually the first time that I was actually able to work from home 100% of the time. Prior to that, I had negotiated to work from home 2 days a week, but now I was working from home 24/7. And it was wonderful because my commute was 2 hours one way. And it was intense. But when you have to do something, you make it work. Mm-hmm. And then you, in your mind, you're like, I'm just going to make this work. And I wrote blog posts. I did social media during my commutes to work. So I made it work because I had responsibilities. I had a home and everything like that. So I had to do what I had to do. Yes. But when I was working from home, now I just crawl to my office and there's just this freedom of being in your comfort zone and being in flow. And I said to myself, wow, this is the life. And I hope this never ends. At the same time, I was talking to my husband about my ideas and visions that it would be amazing one day if I can become a content creator full time. But I never had the aha moment or the confidence to actually make it happen. I felt that because I was in a six-figure job position, that I could never reach that with the other income streams I was building on the side. It seems too great, right? The benefits at work seem too amazing for you to be able to compete with that or replace that. Mm-hmm. So I kept on playing small. I kept on, continuing everything I was doing, squirreling away my money, working really hard on my side projects. But there was this huge limiting block that you could not replace your income. So one day my husband and I were talking and he came to me and said, you know what? He just randomly appeared. He said, you know what? This could be your last year. 2021 could be your last year at corporate if you want it bad enough. So he planted this seed inside of me to wonder what if. Mm-hmm. And a lot of what I think about now is the importance of daydreaming and to just be in flow and to not be worried about the how. I was so concerned, how am I going to replace my income versus just daydreaming about what it would be like to replace my income and then let my feet start moving towards that big vision. So we planted the seeds and I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to do a great experiment. If I can save X amount of money before the end of the year, I will leave corporate because number one, I have a savings to back me up for several months of living expenses. If I made no money whatsoever, I could at least live for 3 to 6 months. Mm-hmm. And then secondly, this is a test. My business is making enough income where I can live off of my income from my business alone. So I know I've put together a good game plan. I have the blueprint. Mm-hmm. So I just made it an experiment and I made it a challenge. If I got to the end of the challenge and I hit all my figures, wonderful. If I didn't get there, at least I knew I gave it my all and we can continue, year after year, we'll just continue to make it work. So the beginning of the year started, I was hustling and grinding. I opened up a new bank account just for going full time so I could track that money separately. I made sure I kept a very detailed account of my income coming in, and I still do that today, actually. So everything I earn is tracked in a spreadsheet. I do a money debrief every day to make sure I capture my expenses and my income. Wow. Because I really wanted to see. There's something really special about the proof to see this, to see. And at the same time, I also knew what could be potentially holding me back. Even if I get the income and at the end of the day, I make my income for the year, what else can potentially hold me back? My family. My family, they invested a lot of effort, time, and energy in me. They've seen me grow my career to become this manager, this 6-figure earner at a really good job. And I knew it'd be very difficult for them to let go of the idea of you're going to be trading that, your security, for content creation and travel and personal finance. It didn't make sense. So I created also in tandem a game plan where I would have frequent conversations with the key players in my life, like my mom, who was very hard to get her on board. But we talked about it. We had open discussions. I showed proof. And I told her, listen, have I ever let you down before? Right? Never let you down before. So take a chance on me, as I'm taking a chance on myself. So involving the people who are key players in your life early in the process is important because it'll help to break down some of those barriers. And when you decide to take the leap, it's not like you're going to be met with all this negative chatter and this discouragement. I have heard those around, throughout the process, but I was ready for it. I had receipts, I had a rebuttal, and I felt in a really empowering position throughout the journey. So I feel like that has been like a huge takeaway. I'm really happy I had the foresight to do that. Yeah. So by the time around summertime, I said to myself, you know what? I reached my income goal. I was already there. My goal was to hit it in December, and I was in July. And I said, to my husband, I'm like, babe, I did it. Any objections? He's like, nope. All right. Put my letter in, and I told them, you know what, I'm going to resign in 2 months, which
Mhm.
gave me still enough time to still do a bit more savings and kind of get myself together as I'm transitioning to this new phase of life. And that is how I quit my job. And I think another big thing in my story is having proof of concept.
Mm.
I had businesses that I was working on for many years. It was about scaling the income to the point where I can live off of this income. And that was really, really important. I feel like if I had quit with no security, like no savings and no business model where I can have income coming in the future, it would have been a lot trickier and more challenging. So yeah,
Mhm.
so that's my resignation story.
Wow. I mean, spoken like a true pro. Proof of concept. People don't want, oh, I got 1,000 likes. People say, you quit that good job. Where are the receipts for income and that type of thing? You set yourself up for success internally, and it came out. So as they say, it manifested because you planned. Your husband saw you on the hustle and grind, and to have that kind of support is such a blessing. But there must have been something along the way where he had confidence in you, total confidence, for him to even bring that up to you, to put that seed in your mind. I am so excited because, wait a minute, you're tons younger than me, and I see, oop, I didn't do that. Oop, I didn't do that. And I sure didn't do that. Excuse me. But it's not too late for us to listen to you and chart our path so that those coming behind yourself, coming behind me to reinvent themselves, you just set out a game plan. You've given them the blueprint that works. That works. Oh my goodness. You have, I don't even know what else to say. I always ask for one final nugget, but I think I just want to leave it right there. Listen more than one time to to her story, because out of all of the people that I've had a chance to speak with during this project, this process, she's been methodical, focused. I heard you use the word grind a couple of times. You can't sit back and say, oh, I'm just going to go ahead and reinvent myself. Oh, I'm going to do this. Oh, I'm going to run after this shiny object. And then I'm going to, oh, that didn't work. I'm going to run after that shiny object. You have to set your course and work it until it brings the fruit that you're looking for. Is that what I hear you say? That's where you start?
You know, it's so important to have both pieces, the mindset piece, the belief in yourself, but also the dedication and the work ethic to put the time in, the dedication to not be emotionally attached to your failures. That I think is huge because if you are attached to your failures, you're going to be wondering, well, am I worthy of success?
Mm.
Or if I take a risk and try something new, is it going to flop? It may flop, but it may be an amazing hit and it may end up changing your life. So I think really leaning into your daydreams, your visions, and giving it a try and chipping away at your goals surely, even if it's slowly, is huge. It's huge and huge to making, at the end of the day, you be able to realize whatever your vision is. I also want to say a little pin to share with listeners is that as I was quitting my job, I also found out that I'm expecting. And it was very interesting because, you know, now I'm in a new transition where it's like I just became a new entrepreneur and now I'm going to become a mom, and balancing those two will be very interesting. But I have the same mindset. I have, let's plan ahead, let's put a game plan together, let's save. So I'm using the momentum that I had from resignation to now building my family. So I think there's a lot of ways that the things that you learn in your past can definitely help you to be even more strategic in the future as well.
You stick to the path, stick to that plan. And I don't mean to keep, I want to bring this around again because I want people to hear, stick to the plan and give it a chance to work. Don't run after the next hottest thing. Oh, they made six figures over here, so I'm going to run over here. I see way too many people doing that. And what we are daydreaming about initially, we don't even give it a chance to work. We don't give it a chance to be successful. So, Danielle, and I'm looking at the time, we have to wrap this up, but please, will you answer this question for me? Success does not come overnight, and success is defined differently for different people. What say you to these statements?
Absolutely. Success. A lot of people who I admire have been at this for a really long time. And you have to ask yourself, am I willing to put in the time and the effort that some of these people have put in to get to where they are? Sometimes I'm like, no, I'm not, I don't want to be putting in that much effort to get to that materialistic goal. I rather just hang out with my family, watch a couple Netflix shows and relax. So I definitely agree with that statement. And I also feel that success is fluid, because success for me pre-resignation looked very different than what it is today. And it will continue to evolve. So me being open, and again, me being willing to put in the work to get to whatever my definition is the key to success.
Gosh, you are a wealth of information, Danielle Desir. The Thought Card is the name of your podcast, and I am a proud card carrying member of Women of Color, WOC. If, ladies and gentlemen, ladies, if you are not a member, you need to join, because this type of information, Danielle has fireside chats. I mean, it's just a very information-based atmosphere. I mean, warm, and just the place to be if you're going to podcast and you're going to do it on a serious note. That's all I have to say about that. You just have to get in there and give it a try. You will not be disappointed. So we catch the Thought Card on all major platforms, wherever Spotify, Audible books, everywhere, wherever you catch your favorite podcast. Be sure to go over there and check her out. Congratulations, dear lady.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, I tell you what, I always, oh my goodness, I was just over, I'm like a little kid when it comes to speaking with people such as Danielle, because they are accomplished, they are focused, and they shared so much light. So listen more than one time. The nuggets just fell from heaven as Danielle spoke. So I'll be back next week. Brand new episode here on Her Business, Her Voice, Her Conversation. And if you want to binge listen, go over to my website, because once a month I do bring on folks who have gone through the reinvention process, or they are part of the Great Resignation. I'm going to keep this series going all year long, so you don't want to miss not one episode. I'll see you next week. Brand new episode. Bye-bye.